Hello
So
and welcome to the show, Alan, aka Sacred Haiku, the host of Pen in the Stone podcast. How are you?
I'm good, Heather. How are you?
Really excited to have you on. I am.
Thank you.
We have been Facebook friends for a little while, and I've listened to your podcast. And I really love that we have this connection where I'll interview a poet and I'll be like, hey, Alan, I just interviewed so and so, and it turns out you interviewed him like a million years ago, and you're like, yeah, I know he's great, isn't he?
Well, it's a good thing. We have the same conversation. You can actually deliver about them and talk about them, and how amazing they are.
Yeah, for sure. How long have you been doing your podcast?
Started in 2019, took a break for 2020, and came back this year. So I'm gonna say about a year, just to cut out the fat.
Cut out the fat. You took a break during 2020 because it was your best year ever, and you were too busy having
Oh,
the time of your life.
yes, definitely, of course.
Yeah, obviously, we all were. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a promotion at my bill-paying job, and that took a lot of energy from me. So I could not even have a chance to. Editing takes so long. I just, just take a break. With a good excuse, because COVID did it to me. That's all.
Yeah, it's hard because I don't think a lot of people realize how much work goes into a podcast, the researching, the editing, the content. And it's hard because I don't know, was it Bukowski who said something along the lines of you have to make that blood money to do what gives you life? It's like, wouldn't this be awesome if we can just give our time to this?
I think that every single day, every night. I'm a night worker where whenever I do the podcast or anything in regard to poetry, art, I work at night
Hmm.
because I just love the energy, the vibe, and how it feels. And I sit there, I was like, I was just doing this every day. I would not feel as bothered as I am during the day. Just,
Right. Yeah,
just, just,
no.
just figuring how the next line is going to work, figuring out how editing process that you're doing, how next step or goal you have in mind, or maybe even the next guest. Because I'll text guests at like 11 o'clock at night. Says, hey, when you wake up, just want to ask you, do you want to be part of the podcast? Because that's when I work most time.
Hmm. Yeah, no, well, it is a lot, a 40 plus hour week job and then this. I totally
Right.
understand that. When did you know that you were a poet?
Um. So I started doing shows, my own shows in 2000. I want to say 2014. I say
Hmm.
2014, but no, what? No, 2016. That's when I met her. Yeah, 2016, I think, was my first show. And when I put it on, got some people that I knew who they weren't really poets, they were just writers. I want to get creative writers and poets and motivational speakers, and just a collaboration of just creative people together and just spoken to do what they do.
Yeah.
And I put on the show. It was at a little wine store. They sold wine, so I had food, some wine there. We all just vibe down, relax. And I performed a few of my poems, which honestly are horrible. Looking back at them, they're just utter trash. I'll probably never bring them back to light ever again. But it got everything started, and the show was fun. Everybody loved it. And I did another one. I met Travis before prior to that. He performed, but I still didn't see myself as a poet even when I was doing it. I just love poetry. Just love being around poets and individuals, motivational speakers. Then once I met Travis and got introduced to the poetry community itself, which was pretty much arms wide open, um, and I started taking it more seriously, I still didn't see myself as a poet, and that was 2017. Um, it wasn't until I performed at a Pros and Men event with DS on the show he put on,
Mm.
and I felt connected to the community, but I didn't feel there yet. No, actually, it was right before. It wasn't until they did a cipher and I performed with them. I actually felt like I really am a poet now. So that was 2017 in June, May or June. I can't remember what day it was. But that feeling of that thing, what it was like you're a poet now, is knowing that you can stand next to amazing artists and feel confident in your performance, or feeling confident as you're writing, or saying, hey, you know what? I'm not just going to write this line because it sounds good. I'm going to write this line to the best of my ability because I want it to convey how I feel or convey an illustration of what I'm trying to say. And being able to take it serious like that, I said, you know what, me doing this and really trying to do my best foot forward, said, you know what, this really shows that I actually am a poet now.
That's interesting. So you recently then discovered you were a poet. It hasn't been that long, but
No.
how long have you been writing though?
Mm, I mean, ever since I was a little kid, really. And I'll never forget in fourth grade, I just write little books, short stories. I just love writing in general. And I'll never forget my fourth grade teacher, Miss Jarrow. She wrote in my yearbook. She said, "I look forward to reading you in the newspaper." It was back. It was back in like 2000, back in like 1999, 2000. And she said, "You know, I can't wait to read a newspaper saying world's greatest writer." And
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
I emailed
Oh,
her not too long ago. So I haven't talked to her in so long. I just like, I just want to thank you for just saying those words to me. And I found her. She still works at the school I went to in New Jersey. And I emailed her. She emailed back and just communicated real quick. But I just like, she's one of the ones I just always talk about, Miss Gerald, Fourth Avenue High School, Fourth Avenue Elementary School in New Jersey.
wow. That is the moment every teacher looks. I think that exactly right there is it must have brought her like, ah, the best profession in the world. Here I am. Like I got into this to make differences like this and what she wrote stuck with you for so long. I think that's really awesome. Wow.
I
And
don't know if she
how
remembered me.
good of you. Like that was perfect that you had um the conscious mind to reach out to her. I bet and yeah, she deserves a lot of thanks because I don't think teachers um obviously they're underappreciated, but I also think that they like parents never really know what they do or how well they do.
Yeah,
Sometimes never, but usually it's not for many, many years until they understand the gravity of their impact, I think. So
yeah,
that's yeah, that's so cool. Oh, I love that. And look at you now. You're actually going to be you published soon in an
yeah,
anthology. What was
yeah.
that called again?
It's called Milk and Honey.
Okay.
The curator of it is Samantha Swain. She's a criminal not investigator, real true crime writer. She pretty much takes true crime, real crime, and she pretty much puts it in writing format.
That's really cool. Yeah.
She,
Well, when that comes out, share the link with me and I'll put it in the show notes for anyone who's interested in a
I will, I
copy.
will.
That's really
She was,
cool.
she was also on the podcast, so you can check out that episode too.
Oh, yeah,
Plug,
we are you know
plug.
what? Definitely. We are gonna link we'll link that specific one to the show notes too. This is perfect. I love it. Yeah, super convenient. So you have some poetry to share with us today.
Yes, I actually do.
Yay.
I have a few. I don't even know which ones to pick. Artists these days. Um,
What I'm gonna
see.
do is I'm gonna mute, but I want you to introduce the poem. And if you'd like to say a little bit about it, you're welcome to. And then when you're done, I'll unmute. But I don't want to any background noise to distract us. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And you just
Okay.
take it away.
Okay. All right. This one. So I'm gonna do. So this one here is called issue number 29. And if there's anyone who likes comic books and things like that, okay, enjoy this one. I believe the alley place where my life became narrow. Feeling the embrace from my parents as our relationship is gunned down by karma's criminals, delayed justice blind to the scale, tipping away from innocence favor. I'm told home is where the heart is. So Gotham became my heart city, while Arkham holds my sanity, looking at ink blots to explain my vision within Cyclops goggles. I never wanted pity. I just wanted a moment where I could flash forward beyond paradox, embracing Mrs. Incredible, to feel the sense of being incredible to thaw my frozen heart. I searched for a heroine to be my sidekick, to be a titan among tendencies, fading teen ways, left in teen spirit, growing up to avenging the justice in the league I've been placed in, thinking the ones I picked to be part of the story will be my forever, only to be left to one-time crossovers. My laughter was immortal, so Deadpool I swam in just to bathe with the phoenix, breaking the fourth wall, knocking on the sky, interrupted cerebral with Joker's laughter, juggernauting my way through walls designed to keep me boxed in. I became the Batman who laughed. The sun rose far beyond my acres wings would carry me, falling into the ocean. Atlantis healed my surface wounds. Hypnotized by Dr. Doom, 1 minute from midnight, threats of doomsday are invisible embers warning of booming up Fantastic Four seasons. Tombstone with my family name on it. It is just a bookmark to the sequel. Photos have become spoilers as I try to remember what my brother looks like. Interesting. Beginning of the movie, I already know my family is still alive after the crash. There's no destruction of Krypton, no sending me away to keep my legacy. In my issue 29, Superman did die. In brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Civil war inside my soul is left to my Iron Man skin, a fight within as light grows dim, confused in days, my world is in a spin, and what is left of me on paper I spill. The ring I wear now is my Green Lantern's blue. I did not stand alone in this self-poetic journey. We met at Xavier School for the Gifted. My X-Men was always with me during experiences, and after I failed high expectations, we exposed ourselves to something far deeper, forming a magnetic brotherhood. They were always behind me, even when I had daredevil sight. I marvel at the support my brothers gave me. They are the ones I could call on during life's infinity war, even if it's endgame to infinity and beyond. In Umbrella Academy, we could remain always covering each other during the storm. We brothers who have no blood connection, no family relation, and yet we built a symbiotic bond, rejecting the venom trying to lead our lives to carnage. From that bond, my Wonder Woman flies in to join that adventure. She became my Captain Marvel, a mystique to my Magneto attraction, a Star Lord to guard her galaxy. She calms my inner hope to let me be myself, even if I am her Doctor Strange. After 14 million possibilities, I would still choose the life I had, changing nothing, knowing now my adventure leads to her. That a Bruce Wayne tragedy. Who knows if my two-faced coin will have landed heads up. My watchman, thank you for watching over me. And to my Elastigirl, you make me Mr. Incredible.
I love that. And I've been to Comic Con, so I understand. I
Oh,
the magic words, "I've been to Comic Con." Instant like, "Oh, you're not a nerd. Yay,
we're
I
not
understand."
worthy. We're not worthy.
I love that. My was it is it Doctor Strange or Mr. Strange?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, that's what I thought. Oh, wow. So much in that. Like, yeah, that's a lot. Tell me about that piece.
um, well, I love comic books in general. Comic books, anime, man, well, it used to be called nerdy stuff. Now it's mainstream. Everybody is into it now, I guess. But
Somebody's gotta forge the trend. I mean, thank
yeah,
you. Yeah.
meanwhile, were teased about it when we were younger, but now it's like, hey, you like it too?
You know what? Whatever. You Dungeons and Dragons comic book geeks, you tutored me. You tutored everyone else, and you're you're doing really well in life. So anyway, who cares what everyone
But
else thinks?
that's pretty much, yeah, exactly. But this poem, it just started as something fun. And issue 29, I was 29. No, I wrote pretty much based upon my life. Um, 29 being kind of time where I could acknowledge certain things about who I am, where I came from, where I'm going, things of that nature. And that was the place I was in. So I just did issue of um, issue of me of where I am at that time, and it just turned into like a comic book thing. And then it turned into after we wrote it again, it turned to some people tell me they say a love piece. Because it's talking about pretty much
Mm.
me dealing what I'm dealing with my life and finding um, my wife now, and
Oh.
somehow her being a big impact for me in a lot of cases. Um, which is why she's Mrs. Incredible or Elastigirl,
Mm.
and that's pretty much what it was. The premise around it. It just turned from one thing to another.
The one thing that I do know about you from being friends on Facebook is you really you love your wife. You're such a good husband. You talk about your wife a lot. How long have you guys been married?
We got married in 2018.
2018. Ah, she's still a bride. You guys are newlyweds.
Yeah,
Congratulations. Yeah.
thank
How long have
you.
you been together?
Since 2016, got together 2017. Yeah,
That's you're so lucky. Y-
I
I
know.
lo I love hearing happy couples. This exists and it's wonderful and I'm happy for you. I love that. Oh
She just
man.
started playing video games with me not too long ago. So
What? How did you
yeah,
find the perfect woman? She plays video games with you? What? That's cool.
she, she did it the first time. She did it before, but she did it recently, and it just turned into like a little thing we do. She's like, "Want to play the game?" I'm like, okay, let's go. And so we just play this. We just co-op a game together, just for fun.
And she kicks your butt every time.
But we're a team, so I mean, she'll be like,
Oh, okay.
I want to see if I can get her to play Mortal Kombat next. So,
Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat. I'll see if she'll play that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. What's your favorite game to play right now together?
Well, we playing Borderlands 3 right
Borderlands 3.
now.
Okay, I'm not familiar with video games. In fact, my very favorite, I don't know. Have you ever played this? And this is so retro now. Oh my goodness, I got this game when I was in third grade for my birthday, and it was all I did the entire
Mm-hmm.
third grade. Super Mario Brothers 3. Have you played
Yep,
that?
yep.
My favorite game. Oh, do you know I would give an entire paycheck just for a Nintendo system and that controller? And it's what I love about video games is you're watching it on the screen and you're like
You're trying
and
to
you're
jump with
like,
it.
yeah. Oh my goodness. That was like the most
Sometimes you have to stand up and
exercise
do
I
it.
got. What was that?
Sometimes you have to stand up with the controller and just stare at the screen.
Oh my goodness. And now the things they're coming out with are so virtual reality. Like it's pretty amazing. That's cool.
I haven't messed with the VR stuff yet. I've just been. I would like to, just haven't. I didn't put the money towards it.
Yeah, yeah. Take it slow because it's addicting.
Yeah.
And once you start on VR, you don't go back, all right?
Oh yeah. Let me put the money towards my podcast
Wait,
first.
what was that? Say it one more time. I think you cut out a little bit. What was that?
Let me put the money towards my podcast first instead of doing VR.
Ah, yeah. See what a good podcast host you are. You care for your show. It's a craft. I don't even
It's
have a
fun. I
name for
love it.
this
Yeah.
channel. Yeah. Like, how long have you been planning that podcast, by the way? Like how because I'm very
Oh,
impressed by it. Like you put a lot of work into it, obviously.
thank you. So I wanted to do it 2017. I wanted to dabble into it towards the end. In 2018, the beginning, I was just doing research. I was looking up podcast episodes because Joe Rogan's one I really listen to a lot. Listen to Joe Rogan, listen to
Who's Joe
once or
Rogan?
he is
I'm
a
just
UFC
kidding.
kind of.
You're so patient
Oh,
with me. I know. You're like, wow, has this lady been under a rock? Like,
I
okay,
mean,
that's
you
cool.
never know. You never know. Everybody,
Aw, you're so kind. Like you were just about to really take the time and explain it to me. I should have just let you keep going. Aw, you're
the
such a
benefit of the doubt.
sweetheart.
Benefit of the doubt. You know.
Aw, I love that. Anyway, keep going. I'm listening.
So I just love his format, just free flow and things like that. So I was like, again, it goes back to the poetry. And so, I would love to take poetry online, expose it more to people outside. Because my biggest thing I was had a conversation with, the only way poetry is going to be known to people is if they other people who don't know it listen to it. We can cycle the same artists, same group of people who come to the shows, which is fine, it's great, but it doesn't I feel like it does a service to the art. So when we start reaching out more, which the internet is a great vessel for it, people who don't know what poetry is and what it's about, it will attract them more. Maybe it'll pique their interest. Because a lot of people who don't know poetry, when they come to the shows, they go, "Oh, this is a thing. I love it." So why not do that on the internet to expand to millions of more people? And so I was planning. I was nervous, didn't know what to do. And I'm kind of bougie when it comes to certain things. Like for example, I was like, I don't want to just plug in my microphone into a phone and do it. I know you can. I just don't want to. I wanted my audio to be a certain way. I wanted my view and logo to be a certain way. I made a logo the first time. Looking at it, it's hideous. I mean, I did it myself.
No, I disagree.
Well,
It
the one I have
obviously you took a
the one
lot
I
of
have
care
now,
into it.
well, the one I have now is the one I paid had Mark, who does my music for the
Oh,
podcast. He designed my logo. The first one I did was just like off a little free website. Um, so I just pretty much had him. I said, hey, I met him at a show with Antino Art. I think you know him and Watson from Emerge.
wait, what's his name again? Yeah, I miss
I
Emerge
think
so much.
Antino Art.
And Tino Art, that doesn't ring a bell, but now I'm curious. And he does the music for you. I have another podcast I might be interested. I would like to maybe get to know him. But I do know Watson, and I remember I think your the first podcast episode I heard of your show was Watson, and he's going to actually be with you and DS Will on at a show. Tell
Yep,
me again. Just bought tickets last night. First Saturday in June.
yep. It's gonna be June 5th at the Wake Forest Coffee. It's gonna be me, DS, Watson, Jake Seagraves, and Travis King. They've all been featured on the podcast already. So that's also one thing. All of us, Jake, I didn't know him at the time. We also did the Pros of Men event together. But we'll all just share on the stage again. Part of the community love it, and not hearing everybody's poetry for so long. And there's be so many heavy hitters on the lineup.
Yeah.
I'm nervous and excited at the same time.
I can't tell you how excited I am about this show on the 5th. It's the 5th, right? Because all I know is it's the first Saturday in June. Whatever that day
Yeah,
is, I'm there. June 5th. I have not been to a poetry reading since February pre-COVID. Oh my goodness. I used to go religiously every other Sunday to Emerge. And
mhm.
it and now my church is closed down.
Yeah.
There's no more Emerge. So I'm so excited. I can't tell you. And also, I think it's wonderful that poets kind of come together to create platforms to continue to share their work and the works of other poets. DS does something similar. You have your podcast. There's Lisa Tomei of the Prolific Pulse Poetry Podcast. And I think this might be kind of naive to say, but this is art coming to life. And I've always said this, and I truly believe it, that art is going to heal the world. And I love that we're bringing it to the people. Why is it, do you think people might it's funny because, people are very, interested in music and everything, but poetry, I think, scares people. I think that they're intimidated by it. I don't think that they understand it, and why do you think that is?
Um, Actually, it's funny. I think me and John Anomaly had a conversation about that.
Yeah.
Um, it's it's because of the how it was taught to us in school. We were taught
Mm,
about Shakespeare, we were taught about Edgar Allan Poe, we were taught about the traditional poets we always hear. You can name those off the top of your head. Langston Hughes. There's so many poets and writers that we listen to, and we're sitting there in class, we're bored, we're seeing Nevermore, and things like that, and we're trying to figure out what are you talking about. I mean, even books like not poetry, but it's in a poetry form like the Crucible and
mm,
Old English language and how it's put together. We're just bored, and every
mm,
time we say someone mentions poetry, they go, "Oh, I don't want to listen to Rose or Red Clouds or Blue," some mess like that. But then it goes far deeper to where spoken word itself reaches into more free form of things, and people don't really know about that, or the next step they would think of is hip hop or rap or lyricism. They skip over the poetry aspect of it. One of my favorite movies is the oh wait, now I'm super I forget it's out to my tongue.
Is it I'm just gonna take a guess. Dead Poet Society?
Morgan Freeman. No, 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 no. It was uh now I forgot the actor's name. James Bond, the original the old James Bond. His name is like slipping off my tongue. I can't think of it. I
Morgan?
can't
Oh,
remember.
this sounds like a good movie itself. Old
Hold on a
James
second.
Bond and
Hold on, I'm about
Morgan
to pull it up.
Freeman band
Hold on.
together to start a poetry workshop. I'm loving it.
Oh, I'm about to Google it right now.
Yeah, Google that. No, but while you're Googling it, I'm gonna say I agree with you 100%. I think when I was in high school, I'm actually from a very, very small village in Pennsylvania, and I feel like people would rather take their chances in math class than in English dissecting
Yeah.
poetry. And that's too bad. And I think it's good the more, people see modern poetry because they see themselves in it and it's
Hmm.
relatable and they realize that not all poets are dead. Like we're stirring soup and we're walking our dogs and poetry is pervasive. It's within us. It's all
Yeah.
around us and it's a
Yeah.
beautiful different way of viewing things and seeing the world. And I agree with you 100% and it's too I think it is intimidating. It's very taxing on the brain to break it down. I don't know.
I mean,
I mean, all poetry has its place. Shakespeare is wonderful stuff.
yeah.
All of that old poetry is very good. But
Yeah.
I love that you also introduce to people, what spoken word is, what free verse is, and that there's so many different forms of poetry that it's not your English teacher's poetry. It's
That's
alive.
that's the box our minds are put into the ones we don't know. And then also too, it's finding Forrester.
Finding Forrester. Okay, I've actually never seen that movie. Tell me about it.
So I love that movie. About
Oh, I'm totally
about
gonna watch it. Yeah, this
yeah,
sounds
please do.
interesting.
To Sean Connery. I don't know how.
Ooh. Sean Connery, that's right. Oh my God. I love how Saturday Night Live does Sean Connery, by the way. I don't think I'm familiar with him. All right, I'm watching it. I'm gonna watch it.
Yes,
Done.
you have to. It's a really good movie. But it's
Um,
just like I said, the box that we put in with how poetry is, it's sad because so many there's so many different versions and types that we kind of lose out on different genres of things because of this mindset that we're placed in. And once, like I said, once people come to the shows with the spoken word, it's like, this is amazing. I love it. I want to see another one. When are you gonna do another one? My mother-in-law, she came to a show, Limitless from last year in January. She was like, when are you gonna do another show? Like, I wasn't expecting my mother-in-law to fall in love with this, but it was amazing to
oh,
hear.
that's cool. You are an ambassador. You got your mother-in-law on board. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, she's amazing too. So, but
Ah, stop it with your perfect life. I love it.
oh, perfect. Shoot, I
I
wish
love my wife. My
it wouldn't
mother-in-law
be
is a
it wouldn't be poetry if life was perfect.
This is true. No, I love I love that you love your mother-in-law. I love this. Keep going. Give me some more joy. Keep going.
It's all positive vibes here. All positive vibes. No, but with the reason why was part of it to segue into the reason why I did the podcast, which I started to realize that I love people's stories. I love hearing them, and poetry was speaking through. You'll learn a lot about a person through the poetry. You'll learn about their mother passing away. You learn about how they were once a drug addict. Maybe they dealt with certain aspects of life, the person they love, maybe the scorn that they had, maybe the fact that they just love eating tacos, which is a piece that someone did.
Yeah.
So um, that simple aspect, you get to know the person. So to me, poetry is their story. That's why I did the podcast, extend the podcast to where I just want to hear someone's story, which is actually their story is actually very poetic in itself. If you look
Mm,
at it and from a movie lens, if you were to like make it into a movie with poetry kind of painted like that, you
yeah.
will see like this is a very poetic storyline that I'm listening to as they explain it all. So that's kind of like extent or the reach I like to do with my podcast. Where I kind of like to keep it free form, so they can just ramble on and just talk about whatever they want to talk about without themselves. And like you said earlier, about getting to know the artist, because even though we see the person on the stage, which is great, once you start doing a deeper dive into who they truly are, the poetry starts to make sense.
It comes alive. It has almost a face with a name kind of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Just not
Yeah.
the sacred haiku. Now, like, okay, this is the guy who dealt with this.
Exactly. Yes. I really like that. It's like a poetic storyboard is what you said. That's hmm.
I'm jealous of the typewriter in the background too.
You like that?
I
It's not a
love.
prop.
I
Let
want.
me
I want one so bad.
Okay, let me tell you what. I know it looks like it's just for decoration. I love typing on this thing. It's a meditation. And it's one of those things.
Mhm.
God, I'm gonna sound like such a super pretentious. I don't care. This is what I love. I don't care. Whatever. I love this typewriter because I think that some things that are a thing of the past, um, they just have value. Like shorthand, nobody knows shorthand anymore. But anyway, typing on this thing is like a meditation. 'Cause
Mm,
it's such a pain in the neck, like, you can't do it on, like, a, keyboard, you can go a million miles an hour, you have to be
right.
very cognizant of what you're typing, and
Right.
you're only focused on that one thing and doing it well, and,
Mm,
it's just really cathartic, you should definitely get it, the way it clicks, click, click, it's awesome, I love it.
yeah. I don't know if
Yeah.
you ever seen a Jerry Lewis movie. It's called Mind the Store. I think it's Mind the Store with Jerry Lewis, and he's
Wait,
typing
say that title one more time.
minding the store. I think.
Oh, I think I might have heard of that, yeah, what's it about?
About so long ago. Jerry Lewis, he the clerk or something at this mall. He goes from station to station. Does his comedy and everything like that for each station. But he's horrible at every single job. And so in this one scene, he's typing in the typewriter. As he's typing the typewriter to a beat. So and then it goes, he hits the thing, he slides it back to the beat, and just keeps on going. It's an amazing scene.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I like that. There's
I'll
music
probably
all
send it to
around
you on
us.
Messenger. I'll say that part on Messenger so you can look at it and laugh.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I want to see that. Do you have another poem for me?
Yeah, I do.
I really enjoy this. I'm really having a good time, and I'm excited to see what you share next.
This one, so that one was waking up to roll. Not waking up. No. If you're 29, this one is going to be. This one's actually going to be in the book, anthropology, that, and it's a somewhat sequel to Wake Up to Royalty, which is a poem about my wife. So this poem is like another version of it. I call it Point.
Um,
Another version of it. It's called Laying My Head Down with You. There is a place between sleep and awake where I can see myself placing my head on a pillow. The body's perfume laying on the sheets of memories, recalling deja vus like files and cerebral cabinets, looking for that fragment of reliving that you gave me after REM sleep. Coffee brew lifted nose hairs up as nostrils absorbed the smell from the other room. When pop and crackle of bacon swallowed the air while red tubes toast bread igniting the morning, I woke to a crown on her pillow. The same ribbon I used to write, I tied around her heart's finger. Sandlot home runs and are just reasons for recessed handlebars to take you home after spring dances of fireflies, moon steps outside your window. 16 candles igniting, St. Elmo's fire just to say anything with a boom box overhead, letting your house know I love you. If I could drink your lips like lemonade in July, then I could see independence on our fourth kiss, as fireworks burst in the air, flashing freedom on the banner of your cheeks as it blushes. I stepped in front of Cupid's arrow when I saw you, flying into the sun like Icarus because you were the horizon I'm trying to watch glow with your ambient colors illuminating from your face. I could see your head raised from the pillow like a sunrise over clouds, staring past the ocean to see mother's eyes, Mother Earth's eyes. Love contracted in 2016, 2020, you were the antibodies to isolation. I never want to see a cure for you. No need for a vaccine to repel my queen, no desire to watch you outside a window. I smile to see you come through the door safe, talking over dinner plates, streaming background noise with our laughter, marking moments with mental bookmarks to get through the next day. just to laugh again under a mask. Pointing out, pointing down aisles to get essentials. 2018, you became more essential. As you walk down God's aisle, you're now more of a necessity. I woke up to royalty. To watch those eyes shades cover their soul windows, I fall asleep to my gods with prayers that lull spirits. If limbo has you in it, then dreaming will be a place I will meet you so we can be floating together.
Alan, I have a very serious question for you.
Huh?
Do you have a single brother?
He's probably 21 now.
I'm 37. It's legal. It's legal. That's all I'm saying.
Honestly, I haven't talked to my brother in years, so.
I don't care. Give me a no, just kidding. Like, listen, if he shares your jeans and he's an inch as romantic as you are, I want in. It's cool. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
No,
so much my older brother. He is 40, 48.
he's closer to my age. But is he single? No.
Um,
I've had my run-ins with not so single men. But anyway, I anyway, can I have a question for you? First of all, damn, your wife, I want to say she's such a lucky woman, but from your poetry, I know that you were just as lucky as she is. I
yeah, I am.
love it. I love it. And I'm very curious, and I hope this isn't too personal, but can you tell me, how did you propose?
So that's the
I
funny thing.
love
So,
these stories. Yes. Okay, I can tell by your smile. I'm excited. Okay, go.
so the original plan was, so my whole thing was I was never just gonna pop the question. It was I wanted to make sure that she wanted to legit get married to me, you know. So we had the
Oh.
conversation, and I didn't want to. I have a weird, weird thing I like to watch. I like to watch wedding proposal fails online. I laugh at them.
Oh, those are really good. And you're like, oh, snap. I don't want to be that. Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, my whole thing was like, you should have a conversation about this thing before you even do it, so you know you don't try to make a fool out of yourself. That was my whole thing. So we already had the conversation, and I already
Oh.
knew. So we I get her to go to look at the jewelry store, and we look at stuff. I just want to know what you like. So she showed me exactly what she liked. We just joked around. I was like, okay, cool. I like this too. Like, yes, no. And so she goes different options she has. And so she walked away, and I went to the cashier and said, "Can you hold that for me? I'll be back tomorrow."
Oh, you devil. I love it. Keep going. This is great.
So she goes. I think she has to go to work the next day. It's a Saturday, or I think regardless. She wasn't with me because usually we're always together. And I go,
Oh, usually we're always together. God, I
yeah. I
love
mean,
you. I love you guys. Okay, keep going.
so she goes to where she has to do, whatever it is, and I go to the mall and put everything together. Figured out her ring size. Regardless, didn't matter. We can fit it later.
Hmm.
Order it
Wait,
because the ticket.
can I stop you real quick? I'm curious. You said figure out her ring size. Now, I've heard of different ways men have done this. How did you figure out her ring size?
I had her measure her ring the night before, and I had him record it so I can remember the next day.
Oh my God, you freaking Rico Suave. Keep going.
So you get close, you get the ring because again, even though you measure the ring, it may not fit because the metal, things like that, too.
Mm.
And so he says it's gonna take a few weeks for the order because she doesn't want a diamond, she wants a pearl. So
Oh, that's
she
unique. I like that.
yeah, she loves pearls. So she doesn't have a diamond. She has diamonds on the side. The main center stone is a pearl. So they went ahead and put everything together. A couple weeks later, I get it. And at this time, we were living in a one-bedroom apartment. So I had this old nightstand. So I pulled the nightstand out, and there's like a little cubby underneath, hollowed out. I didn't know it was there. I was just cleaning up and found it. So I hide all the receipts, ring, everything in that thing. I put the drawer back in. So my whole plan was, usually every year we go to a resort, same resort. We take a vacation down at Myrtle Beach.
Oh, nice.
We're just gonna go. It's always in October because we like to go off season when there's no one around.
Smart.
And so that was a plan. I think it's October we're supposed to go and enjoy and relax. And I couldn't wait. I was like, I can't. I don't want to waste the time because I was supposed to her on I was supposed to her out on the balcony and just have this big speech and yada yada yada, romantic scene. And I was like, that's just a cliche on the beach. I don't want to do that, but yet I just want to do it anyway. So,
But both times I was ever proposed to was on a beach. So yeah, smart man. We're all beached out. What else you got? Go on.
right, exactly. So I was psyching myself out. I was just talking junk to myself, and so we were out. It was me and her friend, who pretty much was like her sister. Um, she's the godmother to her daughter,
Mm.
and so we were all just hanging around chilling, and on the patio, and just something came over me where I was like, man, I just don't want to wait. Why am I going to wait? Something could happen tomorrow, and then I wasted the whole thing. And so I walk in. I said, hold on a second. I want you guys a poem. Said, oh, okay. I said, hold on, let me go get it. So I go into my poem's on my phone, so I don't know what I was trying to go get it. So I go into the room, get the ring, and I read her this poem. And it was a simple poem. I wrote specifically for the event, for proposing to her.
Mm.
Pretty much, I think talking about how I forgot how you put it together. But I did the poem, and then I ended it to where I was on one knee, and this is probably like 11 o'clock at night.
Oh.
11 o'clock at night, and we're just we're having a few beers, just enjoying each other. And I just one knee and proposed, and her friend pulled out her phone and records like the moment that we hug and embrace. She's like, "Yeah, I think so." That was pretty much how it all
Oh,
that out.
you're
But
so
oh,
lucky that you
I forgot
got
the
that
key.
on video. What was that?
I forgot this other key point. The scariest point of the whole thing was I wanted to ask her dad for her hand in marriage first.
Oh my goodness, you're so
So
traditional. Nobody does that anymore. Okay, tell me
I just
about that.
so again I would want to do it for a while, months and months ahead of time before I even had a ring. And no, no, it was actually my regardless, it happened before everything, and I didn't know I was going to do it. I knew I wanted to ask him a while back. At this point, I must be stuck it up. So somehow I can't remember how I did it. Somehow I got to where I was like, "Hey, I just want to talk to you about something." And so
I
called
am
me.
so lucky. I've never been in that situation. That sounds like dread to me. That
uh,
sounds like my worst nightmare. How did it go?
well, a couple
Obviously, it
shots
went well.
before. There's a couple shots before I went out and talked to him. to,
Yeah, same. I would have done the same thing. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he's a great guy. He is an amazing guy, and he's really calm. But still,
Wait a
this
minute. Yeah,
is
your father-in-law is great too. All right,
he's
enough of
awesome.
this. This
So
conversation's over. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm closer to him than my own father. So
Oh,
yeah,
what a
I think
wonderful. Oh, I love that.
yeah.
God, what a
But,
great family you have.
yeah, I'm lucky that I was able to find that someone who's not blood family, but just build my own family at this point. So it
Hmm.
worked out. But asking him, like I said, it wasn't the fear of asking, it was the fear of this is someone's daughter that you're putting their life in your hands, in a sense.
Oh my
And
goodness, can I just say that you are exactly the man every mother wishes for her daughter.
it's funny you
Thank
say that.
you.
I realized that I was like, I'll never have my daughter date. I realized that. I was, well, not me, but someone like, okay, no.
No, no, no. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. So, okay, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I really
You're
love
fine.
this. Now I'm in the story. I'm invested. Keep going.
So well, I'm outside in front of the apartment complex, in front of the apartment building that we live in. I want her to hear. I just asked him, I said, hey, this must be a point of question. And he said, he told her later on, on that I was nervous. And so I asked him, and we had a pretty much a long conversation, not even a long conversation, probably maybe 15 minutes talk. And he said, yeah, I would love to.
Oh,
So it worked out there. And then I was
perfect.
like, please don't tell your wife, please don't tell mom, whatever. And so next thing you know, he tells her. So
Oh
he
my
tells her.
goodness. The
But
the,
my
the
whole
most
thing,
happiest news. He's
well,
heard.
I was afraid that she would say something. So that's the reason why I said, that's the reason why I'm nervous.
You tell
I was
mama. You basically told her. Yeah, for sure.
like, right. So I was like,
No, but
she
honestly, the inside secret though, if I'm going to be honest, is if you if you're close with the bride and you know it's going to happen, I know a lot of people will say, "Hey, I think you should get a manicure," or "Hey, I think you should maybe if you go on this trip, bring an extra like a fancy pair of clothes." They
Right.
help them in that way. Yeah, go
Yeah.
on.
Like take a shower this time. Stuff like that.
Yes, exactly.
So like I said, that was whatever amount of time was before, and then just worked out. Yeah, that's my proposal randomly before I was actually planning on doing it. So
Actually, I really love that because it was raw and it was true in the moment. And I
mm,
love that you
I'm
couldn't
horrible at
wait.
surprise. Yeah, I'm
What
horrible at
was
surprise. I'm horrible at surprises. Like
I
I'll
feel
get
like
her I'll get her a gift. I get her a gift. I was like, I'm not gonna wait. I want to see her reaction. Here you go.
I was the same way. I was the same I'm the same I'm still the same way. Like in elementary school, I make my mom a macaroni necklace for Mother's Day and I give it to her like in April. I'm like, I can't wait. This is the most beautiful gift you've ever gotten. You're welcome, mom. Yeah.
They just scrape into the pie. So you ready? You hungry?
Yeah. So tell me, so what was her reaction? Obviously she said yes, but like was there anything about it that surprised
Well,
you or
her whole she's like, I did not know that you were gonna do this. I was shocked, and she was like, Oh my
oh.
god, why are you doing this now? My hair is horrible. I look horrible. Uh,
Oh, and you were like, but you're still a beautiful baby, and this is why I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
all
Oh.
that cliche stuff.
No, but I know you meant it because you're such a romantic.
I
If
am.
you want to
Yeah.
quit your full-time job, you can probably give lessons to the rest of the rest of the dating pool. I think that's really great.
Yeah, I won't think about that because, like I said,
Wait a
actually,
minute, there was a movie about that actually Will Smith
Hitch.
Hitched. Oh, you could be Will Smith on Hitched.
Well,
You
you
could
saw how
do
that
that.
played out. You saw
I
how
forget
that.
the ending. No, 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 baby. You write your own ending. No, I forget how that played out. Great. I'm gonna have to add that to the list of Netflix. No, but it's a thing. I think you'd be good at it. You're a romantic man. And you write poetry. Come on.
That's the people. I remember writing poetry when I was in high school, middle school. I did it because I wanted to impress girls. That was the thing. That's the reason why I did it. Now I just
Oh,
do it for fun.
but
And
isn't
now I
that
look at
how a lot of art begins? Like there's a muse, like there's
yeah,
something that strikes our heart. And anyway, I get it.
not Muse like the band, even though they're good. So
Wait, what was that? Wait, what was that?
mu-
Say again.
not Muse like the band or the group.
Oh, Muse. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I like
Yeah,
that band.
I love them. Awesome.
You do? Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't listened to them in forever. Oh
I don't
God,
think they
I'm
make
gonna be
music
making
anymore.
a big list after this. This is a lot of resources. Anyway, do you have another poem for me? And then I'll stop asking you for poems, but I'm just
No, you're fine.
okay.
This
I
one,
really enjoy this, and I love the way you deliver them, and I think, gosh, I'm really grateful for this time. So please take it away.
thank you for asking me to do this. Um, this one here is I don't think I've ever read this out loud, but I've read it in the privacy of poets, and they really liked it. So I'm like,
This
I
is
just
a
kind of want to see your reaction to it,
this
really.
is a privilege. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna mute, but
Okay,
God, I'm really excited. All right, I'm gonna mute.
I gotta find the tone for this one. How I do it. I've never performed it really. This is called the train. It's 11:59, and the midnight train is scheduled to arrive. As insects gather around the lamp emitting a yellowish glow, I stay on the other side of caution, painted on the floor. If I wanted to, I could step over it, breaking the law of mental physics that we all apply to what this line means. It's not to be crossed, yet still can be. Wooden benches, backs to the station ground, littered with ticket stubs and cups dropped in the rush of missing their train. I'm sure some lazy ones just didn't want to throw them away, and while others shot, like, while others shoot like Shaq free throws. luggage filled with few items deemed necessary for a time away from home placed beside me close by. Eyes looked down every few minutes, checking to see if it had not ran off to a new admirer. The night was dark. The moon hides behind clouds in its crescent form. Between trees, my mind tricked itself into seeing glowing eyes of folk tales in the woods. Still no sign of the train. It's 12:01. Time slows down with anticipation, becomes your travel companion, and like to remind you that it's still not here yet. It sits on your shoulder when you're conscious of taking a break. Jackhammering mind games start as you become uneasy, constantly checking the clock, hoping Father Time gets up to move the hand. 12:01 still. No, I won't look at the clock for 5 minutes. That's not so long. That's not so long. The train will be here soon, and I will be on my way. The only person to talk to was a squirrel picking a slice of mushroom and olive pizza out of the trash. Ain't crazy, or I might be up to speaking with him. Something to distract my anticipation and nerves from speaking to me. Cracks on the ground become balance beams. Me becoming the world-class gymnast, front foot in front of the other, turn around front foot into the other, and dismount. Sticking the landing, the crickets crowd erupts in an orchestra. Mosquitoes fly around the face like fluttering confetti and smack as they become break formation to stick my neck. Ooh, the betrayal. But not as much as this Judas clock reading 12:02, where is time hiding under the tracks inside the bathroom, or am I just not friends with it, for it not to be here when it should? Maybe I'm expecting something that I can't control. And I refuse to give up my alpha pride. But when does it become acceptable to not stick up to social norms? When the crowd is in line and you just want to go off the path to see what's on the other side of the street, so you already are warned that it's dangerous. Like this yellow line in front of me, it's there for a reason, for protection. Stepping over it leads to consequences. How can you learn if you don't know what consequences feels like? Like falling in love with a woman that is taken by another man and she calls you over. There is my distraction. Use a daytime dream, reason for my baggage, a ticket to my heart's vacation. Drifting into the middle of the night, I can see her diamond slip off her finger before she cuts my head, pulling me into her lips. The danger of him walking through the door, catching me holding her like he used to, added to the fuel to this burning lust. Her eyelashes tickled my cheeks, lips traveled to my neck, buttons undid themselves so I didn't have to. She kissed my shoulder, legs wrapped around me like tight lap, legs wrapped around me, right her right hand against my wall, putting her left leg wrapped around my right, pinning her against the wall, pulling her hair back so she can praise a deity she desires. The secret moves to the side, giving me free access to be closer to her throne. I can hear the sound of the door opening and the blaring noise of the train in the distance. Clock reading 12:56. Like my time, her, like my time with her goes so fast. The time I saw with her was cut short. The Cyclops train looks right at me. I'm blinded at its arrival. I'm waiting for you. Now that you are here, I'm not sure how to react. My time to move on to the next life. This one, this one-way golden ticket, like the gates promised to the brochure in my bag. The white locomotive slows down a complete stop over the white cloud smoke. No passenger on it beside me. After I step foot over the line so easily crossed, lights flicker as the surge stabs my chest. Sitting in the seat, door closes. Down the train I've been down the train I've been waiting for. Looking back through the window, I see the EMTs trying to revive my body with pads charged to awaken my stopped heart. There she is sobbing over me. Her tears fall for me, or perhaps they drop for her husband and put in the cop car. I'll just stay positive, though tears are for me. I will be at peace after crossing the line to be with her, just and to be with my consequences, knowing how it feels. Although I wonder, was my life worth her part-time love? Time of death, 1 a.m.
Oh boy. I didn't know this was gonna be this is like a reaction video. Oh, my heart. Where do I begin? So you didn't share this with me before the show. You said I want to know what your reaction is. So, okay, can I just tell you the lines that really like I was like, "Oh man, that's really good." And I might have flubbed this up. This is my first time hearing it. Father time, checking to see if Father time gets up to move the hand. I feel that. 1202, where is time hiding? I ask myself that all the time. And you're talking about the social norms, and I want to say, yeah, I felt that unconventionality is my first language. And oh God. And then the diamond slipped off her finger. That's when I've seen this happen in real life, and I want to ask you everything about this poem. Like, where did that come from? Is this a true story? You got to spill it. And anyway, I mean, the whole thing was really, really good. But you know what I really loved? I thought was brilliant, and I know that there are a lot of brilliant pieces in there. Cyclops train. Duh. I've never thought of it that way. I love that. Now I'm always going to think that when I see like the single light shining from a train. Cyclops train. That's so great. I love that. Yeah, you're gonna have to tell me about this piece. And first of all, did you read this to your in-laws yet?
Oh, oh no, because it's
Oh,
gonna
great.
be
I can't
so.
wait to share this episode. No kidding. All right, I'm ready. Tell me all about it.
So there's no dark personal story. I just love. I'm not. I can't really remember how I wrote this. Or it was.
It's so imaginative. Like you even like who would think of the diamond slipped off her finger? Like that's salacious. Like that caught my I l- it's intriguing. It drew me in. I want to know everything about these characters. Go.
so the pretty much the premise is, of course, you know, he with this married woman, and the guy killed him. And so the
Yeah.
whole aspect of course waiting for going to the next life, of course, waiting for the ghost train, which I don't know. I know I'm really into like mythology and things of that nature. Like in the Matrix, when they're deleted, they go on the train and they go to the next to the I think back to the source. And
Oh, that's really interesting. That's
on in the Greek mythology, when they pass the next life, you have two coins in your eyes and you pass over. I think it's Greek. Lord, I can't remember. You put the two coins in your eyes and it's being passed off to the next life. So you still have a boat, a vessel to go over to the next life. Um, that just being
hey,
used.
I've seen that in a Billy Joel music video. We didn't start the fire, and he has now I want to Google that. I want to know what the story is behind that. That's really
So
interesting. Okay, keep
I think
going.
the coins represent I think this payment to the reaper. I know it's just a simple version. Reaper who rides the boat, you put the two coins, or you give them to him, and he will pass you off to underworld.
Oh my goodness, that's really
Yeah.
interesting. Oh, cool. All
So
right.
I know that's just a simplified version, in a nutshell. So I like to paint imagery and mess with people's sensory when I read or perform a poem. To kind of put them in a mindset of, okay, I'm next here. I can smell the popcorn, or I can feel the smoke,
Yeah.
I feel the cold or the night, or whatever I'm explaining in mind. Um, and I'm kind of in this one, I want to really anticipate that your time is very slow, and you're just waiting, waiting, waiting.
Mm.
And time is even slower, of course, since he's in that waiting for his time to be over. So, pretty much in purgatory, in a sense. That's where the train station is.
Oh,
And
wow, that's really
then
great. Okay.
that's kind of how it started.
Okay. God bless the internet. I cannot wait to do this in person. All right, this is what's going to happen. Thank you for sharing. Now
Thank
spill the
you.
beans. Now I need to know what's going on there.
I feel bad that I started over a few of them because of, like I said, I've never performed it, so I'm not. So this one's really, really, I say, it's a
Can I
struggle
ask
for me.
you, are you planning to read this on June 5th?
That one, no. The one, actually, all the ones I've read to you, I'm actually not going to share them. Um, I'm not going to.
It
That
feels like
one,
a
that
real
one.
honor that you're sharing it here. Like I think they're really good pieces. I feel
Thank
very
you.
privileged. Yes.
Yeah, the other, the waking up to laying my head down one, that one was going to be published. The issue 29, that's just a, kind of a fan favorite people like usually. And then this one,
That's
the
one
train,
of
is
your
just one
most
that I have sitting in the archive.
popular pieces, correct? Like that's the issue
Yeah,
29. Yeah, that's
issue
a very
29
popular one.
and waking up to royalty is another one. I didn't read that one this time. Um, but yeah, those are two. But for this one, the train, it
Mm.
was I like to paint a picture and really tease or mess with people's sensory. Like smell the popcorn or feel the cold air or feel the chills of like the eerie energy in the area, whatever it may be trying to convey. And I was trying to, I think with this one, I was trying to like kind of push my pen a little bit, see what I can do and mess with, really capitalize on the emotions of the piece.
Mm.
And it just evolved as time was going on for me, just testing it and then to creating this story that came out of nowhere, which I love to do anyway. I love to create stories. Did a poem I did a long time ago, and I had a counselor read it. This is actually like after I graduated. This with someone, and she said, "I can't tell if this is a story or this is a poetry." And I didn't even know what that meant at the time, years ago.
Mm.
Now I kind of know what she meant now because of how I write things. And so, like, kind of the direction I was going with this one is more of a story and a story and a poetic format. Um, and so I wanted to go like not talking about how they were making out and being close together romantically. I I want to really harness the energy of you can tell they like being together. They're they're romantically involved, but they don't belong to each other. Which of course no one belongs to somebody, but in this context, it's just say they she belongs to somebody else. She's here.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and so the part that I wanted to highlight for me personally was like where he was where pretty much it says like where he holds her like he used to. They're pretty much like
Mm.
where she's kind of placing the emotion with him. Um,
Oh.
so it was yeah,
He holds her like he used to, but they don't belong to each other.
it was okay. It is the danger of him walking through the door, catching me holding her like he used to, add to the fuel of this burning lust.
Mm.
So I
Love
just wanted
that.
to have like that danger aspect of she doesn't belong to him, they don't belong to each other, and that's why I talk about how wasting your time with something that's never going to be yours emotionally or physically, and the consequences of doing certain things, whether it be what he did or something else or the other, or even giving your heart out to somebody, the consequences of giving that and putting your heart and emotion on your sleeve because it's kind of vulnerable and not know what's going to happen, but there are consequences behind it, and then you get the hurt. Okay, he ended up dead because of a serious situation. But it's really about his angle of just being vulnerable and giving
Mm.
himself and not caring that it happened because he was happy. He's happy with the idea that he was there for a minute,
I
even though it cost
understand
him
that.
his life. So that's where, as he's passing on to the next life, yeah, he's contemplating,
No,
was it worth
I
it?
think that
But I
that's
think
really relatable because I feel like anybody who's ever had a broken heart is like, this hurts really terribly right now, but I would experience this 100 times if it meant having this experience over again. And I think there's a word for that, but I don't know. But it's like, wow, this is
insanity.
it's insanity. Yes, you nailed it. It's like, my God, this is so
They say
beautiful.
love is borderline insanity.
Well, it really is. It's a drug. It
Yeah,
makes you
I really
act in
I
different
love
ways,
when people
you
say
know?
love is borderline insanity. It pretty much is.
No, it is, and I think that's
Yeah,
scientifically
you
proven,
you
but
go to somebody and they and let's talk.
I think that that's such a relatable piece because I think,
Do some crazy stuff.
everyone can say they've been there. Um, And it's like it doesn't matter how much it hurts, but that pain is like, it's you would go through it if you could just relive that affair again. Did your in-laws read this piece?
You
Did
can
you
take it
perform
as
this for them?
a
Because I think that that's the next line of business. I think we should invite them on.
no. Like no, I think we're good. I think we're good. It's not a true story. It's just I just love like making up stuff like something like this because I mean everyone's gone through it. I haven't gone through it, but just hearing people talk about certain things about their lives. Like when I watch a movie, I put myself in the character's mindset or frame of emotion. Like I've teared up over things like why are you tearing up? You know, person's just having a going to get coffee. Yeah, but you don't understand the coffee represented the fact that him and his mother used to get coffee every Sunday type thing, you know.
Oh God, you are so empathetic. You and my other guest, DS Will, you both share that quality. And I find that like such a coveted quality because people who feel things and can be empathetic, they recognize what needs to be healed and they are healers. So you're a healer. I really love that that you can put yourself in this situation. It's really a gift. Let me ask you, I want to put myself in your shoes. Where do you get inspiration? Is it through other art and you put yourself in there like a movie, or does something just strike you and all of a sudden it's like, I have to write about this? What's your, tell me, where do you get your
um,
inspiration?
I have to break it down in topics. So if it's one, sometimes I'll be thinking watching. Okay, well, for example, um, I have a series. It's called a Rhapsody series, and one of the main ones I have, I performed at City Soul before everything closed down. It's called John Wick Rhapsody. Um,
John Wick Rhapsody?
yeah.
Oh God, I can't watch John Wick. The dog gets
What?
hurt. The dog, because of the dog scene. If they
That's
delete that,
that's the
come
only
on.
movie that I cry every single time. I
I
get mad.
can't. No, but
But he
okay. Damn it. Damn it. All right. Let me add John
just
Wick to
just
the list.
just skip over that
Fine.
part.
All right.
You
Fine.
can't handle the skip and just you already know how it feels with the dog. And just skip that part and move on to the next one.
Ugh. Go on. All right. I want to hear what you have to say, though, but damn it.
So so that being an example of just I love the movie, I love that series. Um, and I was inspired by it. I just want to write a poem. So I kind of took John Wick and took all the emotions he felt and he gone through and put it in a romantic sense of him
Mm.
coming to terms with who he is and things like that. Um, so that's an example. I get inspiration from various things that I see every day. Listen to poets, to their poem, and I hear a line. I just hear a line. Like, that line's amazing. I love the. I took it this way, example. But I want to see if I can write it like this. And write a certain, go from there. I was like, kind of like a branch. You just branch out and just evolve from there. Um, every day, just about every day, me and Travis were sending each other little lines, a little snippets of idea of a word that comes to our head or a line or a stanza that comes to mind. Go back and forth. Just it's just like a workshop in a sense. Um, but the main source I could say where inspiration will come from is, and I love Antino for saying this. I didn't get him. He first said it a while back podcast, but he said that ideas do not belong to us. They come to us and we choose what to do with it. They are energy or vibes or rhythms that we tap into at the moment and we do what we wish with at that time.
Oh,
And
oh, man.
yeah.
I want you to repeat that just one more time. And I know this is going to be repetitive to people who listen to this episode a few times. Say that again. I love that.
So like it's not my original concept. And Tino Art, check out his podcast too. He's actually going to be next episode this Monday.
We'll link
17th?
him. We'll link
17th.
him.
Yeah. So he had a concept of ideas do not belong to us. They are energy and rhythm in the universe that we tap into that come to us and we choose what to do with it at that moment. Um, And I took it a step further in our conversation on the podcast and said, I wonder if I have an idea that comes to me and I don't do anything with it, whether I just ignore it, don't have time, whatever happens, I don't do anything with it, and someone else does. I feel like that. I wonder if that passes over. Like, okay, you're taking too much time to use me. Then move on to someone else who's actually going to utilize this energy,
Mm.
this rhythm. And same thing with writer's block. I feel now that writer's block happens because you probably were so creative for so long. Now it's like you're kind of okay. You've taken so much energy already. Let's go ahead and let's give it to somebody else, and you're going to take a break. We call it writer's block, but it's just letting users know like we're closing the door from the energy. That way you can kind of recharge and reset yourself so you can take more in because you keep on going, you're going to overload yourself. It's kind of like a little kind of
Oh, so
idea I
writer's
had
block has a
off of what
purpose.
he was bringing it down. How
I hadn't thought of it
exactly
that
the recharge
way.
part.
Kind of like, I don't know about you, but like you, I have a habit of burning the candle at both ends, and then I shut off. And I'm like I'm invisible. I disappear for like a while, and then I
Yeah.
reemerge, and then it's like, oh, who are you again? But I get that you do need to hibernate, and I get that energy part of it.
Yeah.
I
And because
guess
we're always
writer's
like,
block has its purpose. Yeah.
yeah, it sucks when you're named to write a project and it's like, wow, it's deadline tomorrow. I need to write, but then it's kind of like where you put yourself in that situation for that deadline, put a prepared by XYZ, blah, 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 whatever the case is. But I don't know. Just, I love how him saying that ideas don't belong to us. And it just
Ideas
comes, because
don't
it makes me
belong to
feel
us. Yeah. And
humbled and also, yeah,
I've said this on other podcasts, so I hate to interrupt you and say this, but I know that feeling, and I truly feel that um I r- I really believe that art just wants to be born sometimes. And I feel like you and I and us artists, we are conduits for this
mm,
expression.
word.
I've gotten to the point where I no longer apologize for a poem I think sucks, but I also don't take total credit for it if it's really good because it almost doesn't belong to me. It was something that wanted to come out and it's now belongs to everyone. It's out there. Um, I definitely understand that.
I mean, it's humbling too, because speaking to the fact that there's a bigger picture that it's not just you doing all this. It's not just, yeah, it's all me. I came up with this idea. Pat me on the back, sing my praises. Like, no, do what you had to. You utilized the idea or the wavelength that came to you. Good job. But just know this came from somewhere else. Wherever it is, whether it be someone singing and you just got the idea, that was the muse to the idea, or the fact that you cried over the dog and John Wick, that wrote a piece of it, that was a channel. It just wasn't you, you know.
Yeah. And so Bukowski has a poem, So You Want to Be a Writer, and he talks about it roaring out of you and how you shouldn't do it unless it roars out of you. And when it does roar out of you and you don't share it, that to me is such an injustice to art
Mm,
because
mm,
it's almost in vain. Like this piece wanted to be born and you're not sharing it, and it really is for everyone. And I feel like that's you talked earlier about sharing stories, and I feel like once you share a story, it becomes everyone's story. There's a power in saying, "Me too. I
yeah,
felt that way before, and this also happened to me." And then we become a more cohesive tapestry. It's beautiful and it needs to happen, and we've been doing it
yeah.
since the dawn of time. I'm freezing so much.
Les
I
Brown said
hate
something
you,
similar.
Zoom.
He said,
Zoom, you need to
"Imagine yourself
update.
laying." Oh, you are.
Stupid Zoom. Keep going. I'm listening. It's
Hopefully, soon will.
distracting because it's capturing like the
Les
ugliest
Brown said
double
something
chin.
similar.
Say again. Obviously, this was filmed
Les
during
Brown said something very
COVID,
similar
and
to
one day you and I will be in the same room together. Go on.
this. Well, Les Brown said something very similar. He said that imagine yourself laying on your deathbed and all your ideas and goals were looking over you, looking down on you, saying, "We came to you to give us life. You did not."
I've heard that before. I love that. I hadn't heard that anyone say that in a while.
I get chills every time I hear it. I go, so
Oh.
all those poems I looked over, they're looking at me. Yes, they're looking down at you. And I just I've written a piece about that cinema I'm actually performing um, coming up soon. Next event, June event. Um, I'll just tap into it a little bit. Pretty much talking about how I wanted to quit poetry during COVID because I just felt so depressed, and I just wanted to how I came out of it and things that I'm gonna give up for it. So that's kind of like the premise of the poem I'm going with from June. It's
Mm.
kind of a mental health thing I'm going with the series I have for the performance.
And that in itself is everyone's story. I f I felt like when the whole COVID thing happened, I really felt that this is where art comes alive. And I
Yeah,
thought those who create, this is their space and time to create, and there was going to be so much beautiful art birthed from this. But
yeah,
time wears you down, and then it's like you then despair sets in. It's like, when is this gonna end? And
yeah.
I think that that's very relatable. That's a very relatable feeling.
I mean, we weren't. No one was really performing. No, everyone was probably writing to themselves. I mean, I was, but you get into this comfortabilities where you're getting up, maybe going to work. This was essential at that time, or you're just watching Netflix
Mhm.
because that's what you do. Because that's what you do today now. And once it's like, well, I have nothing to prepare for, or I have nothing to write. No one hears my poetry, and then that's where it comes down to where you be disciplined in yourself. So it was like, I just need to set time to write, or I need to sit down. I'm not doing this for the audience. I'm doing this for myself. And
Exactly, yes.
everyone I talk to on every single podcast ask them why they write. A lot of them say to heal. That's how you were saying earlier. Say to heal, like to be from whatever they were dealing with, or they just do this to get things out. I mean, the same thing with people who journal. They journal every day because they're just trying to get out what they feel. And that's how poetry is for people.
Another guest I had, Gina Carrillo, talks about how it's bleeding on the page.
Hmm.
And I
I use
think
that a lot. A lot.
that writers are so beautiful in this way, and this is why I love writers so much, because they're brave. They have courage to dig back in. A lot of people avoid things that have affected them and that have hurt them, but writers have the courage to not only dig back down into the muck and the mire, but to come up and share that experience with everyone and give it create this empathy around it where I really I took this workshop recently, and I'm not going to get too far into it because it's a lot, but the it was a creative workshop for branding, and it was for actors, and the instructor was telling us how, we give a lot to politicians, right? We vote, and we're like, we think politicians are changing the world. I disagree. I think it's artists. I think it really is artists, and we really do shape the social consciousness. And one of the examples was for okay, Ellen DeGeneres, Will and Grace, like this, they brought the LGBTQ community into your living room and made it human.
Yeah.
And through it, I don't know as though gay marriage would be a thing today without the arts, and I think that this is what we do as artists. We create this empathy and we share it, and like I said, it heals. And I think this is where the healing comes from, empathy.
It's funny you say that because I find it hilarious where, for example, there are certain YouTubers or they provide certain entertainment, whatever it
Right.
may be. and I'm hearing like, thank you guys for the gifts, for the email, like people just sending them things, and not just here's a note, here's a letter, here's a T-shirt, items that they could use, like monitors. Here's a $200 thing that I find crazy, so I'm gonna give it to you, this content creator, whoever they are, entertainer, and I'm like, so you mean to tell me people get things for free just by being entertainment? Because reason why? Because they're impacted by that person. They're feeling close to them. They feel like they know them. I don't know, Beyonce's beehive, huge. She's pretty much massive in her own right.
Yeah,
Um,
Beyonce is queen. Let's
yeah,
take a moment.
Tupac and Biggie's fan base was so huge they could have moved mountains alone with their fan base. That's how powerful they were, just as entertainers. And we also go into the whole fact of Martin Luther King about the man. They're not entertainers. They're still someone that impacts in their own art way, because their speeches were art form based in a sense, how
Mhm.
beautifully were spoken. So, like exactly how you said, the impact we have as artists are way more than someone who goes in there and says, "I will make change. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that to make the streets seem better." It's like, well, meanwhile, us artists are conveying how close we are to the situation about whatever it is, and saying how we feel about it, and how and everybody says, I can relate to that because they are actually feeling it, and it feels like it's an honest
Mm.
expression.
It's
If we
it's an
paint,
honest
words,
expression.
music,
Yes.
um, comedy.
I think
I'm a
if
huge fan
anything,
of comics and the
artists
comedic process.
artists influence politics in a way because politicians kind of
Mm.
pander to the people,
Oh,
and once we create something that's relatable and empathetic, like you were saying, Biggie and Tupac. I had another artist on the show, Granville, and he's talking about Bob Marley and the Wailers, and he said, I love him. I love
Granville.
Granville. I love you, Granville. Please be watching this. But he's talking about how Bob Marley and the Wailers, they're the newspaper for the poor people. And it's like you've made it very relatable in a way. You brought this consciousness to the people. I just think that's where it heals.
You put your tinfoil hat on and say that's why a few of these artists were killed because they were just so powerful with their creativity and art.
It is so powerful, and I think people underestimate the power of art and the
Mm-hmm.
power of influence, of art's influence, and so it
Shout out to
feels
Granville
pretty damn
again.
great to be like we we put out content, we create platforms for change, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Again, shout out to Granville. He is, if there's poetry, he is there. He is
Are
a
you
huge advocate
Do
for
you know
poetry.
my friend Granville?
Yeah, I know.
I love Okay, did you go to Emerge?
I was never able to make it before it closed. I've only been there after before. No, I did. I went there for Watson's book release. Um,
Oh, I remember that. I bet we share the
yeah,
same space. But yeah, that's how I knew of Granville. Granville's a big deal. I'm not gonna lie. He's like I just love him. I love listening to his poetry. He has a way of delivering it.
he's also
He's pretty awesome. So
if
hey, I
there
got
anything
some
poetry.
Oh, sorry. Our audio
I'm
is
sorry. Go ahead.
overlapping. What did you say?
Yeah, I was just going to say like he is just an amazing poet and artist. Like, he's a huge advocate in the community.
He really is. Thank you. I gotta say, I love Raleigh, and I love our poetry community, and there are so many talented, inspirational people who are open-minded and also accepting, and it's the kind of feeling that embraces you and makes you want to continue art. It doesn't diminish you. It's not intimidating. It's supportive, and I'm so grateful for
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I'm glad to be a part of it. Honestly.
Yeah, I love what we're doing here. So I have some questions for you. You got some extra time?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm really excited about these. All right.
Now I'm
Question number
nervous.
you should be very nervous. No. All right. Who would win in a fight or a battle? Spider-Man or Batman? Go.
Oh, Batman.
Wow, that was too fast. Why?
One, I'm biased.
Okay, wait. So Batman is DC. Are you more into DC? Oh, okay. Is that the thing?
Well, I mean, I'm both actually, but I'm more of the classic sense of being a fan. I don't really care too much about the newer stuff.
So it's
I don't,
classic. You have an
yeah,
allegiance towards Batman.
yeah. I was a huge Spider-Man fan as a kid, and then as I grew older, I understood I love Batman too. Batman and Spider-Man are my two favorite characters. I would lean more towards Spider-Man, but then as I got older, I was like, Batman's more relatable.
Oh, that's cool. I
I
hadn't
feel
looked at
like
it that
sometimes if
way.
you want to go deep, where each villain that he faces is an extension of things he has to deal with. Yeah. I
Each
mean, the villains are
villain
just,
that he
you
faces
understand them more, but
is an extension of what he has to deal with.
yeah, that's kind of how I feel sometimes. If you want to see it from a psychological feeling about him, well, imagine the Riddler. He's a detective. So everything's a riddle. Everything's a process of him figuring out what to do. So the Riddler's like that side of the brain. Two-Face. Two-Face is the version of him, the man, him, the actual hero being Batman. And then there's the Joker, him not being taking things so seriously, but meanwhile, with all the hard things he's gone with and seen. So where's the laughter side? That's deep inside of him. Clayface, because the different faces he does. Because him being a detective, he has to be put on different disguises and things like that. Poison Ivy, maybe the relationships he's in is very toxic that he gets into. Catwoman, he just fell in love with Catwoman. I can't even try to take anything with
Wow. I
that.
wasn't expecting such an educated answer. That's wait a minute. God, I feel like I would enjoy this way more if I had your brain. Like you were so empathetic that oh my God. Did you just psychoanalyze Batman in front of me like that? That was what?
I mean, I feel bad for Spider-Man too. That's why I kind of don't like how they changed him now. Because back in Spider-Man, he was a kid, went to school, he went to high school, then went to college, trying to make ends meet. He just lost his uncle. He's trying to take care of his aunt, who loves him dearly, but he also doesn't know his family situation. And he's just trying to become the best person he can. He wants the relationship he has. He was very relatable in the sense of this is an everyday person who just has powers, which I loved, I cared about. I think they took that away, relatability with the newer movies.
Hmm.
Was you still have a good time watching the movies, but the one thing I loved about Spider-Man was the fact that you do get the sense of not only does he have to save the city and get talked bad about by the person he's working for, also he has to make ends meet to pay rent in this
Oh
high
God, I'm
New York
done.
City apartment that is small, things like that nature.
I have no further questions. I did not I did not
And I
expect such an in-depth answer. Damn it, damn it. All right, I'm gonna add these movies back to the list. I've watched these movies and I did not. You like just in explaining it, I have empathy for Spider-Man. I think we've all been in like a crappy little apartment being talked crappy about by our employers. Oh my God, I'm done.
I remember
I hadn't
I
picked up.
remember moving into the apartment and just seeing roaches and then I was like, hey, why are there bugs all over my apartment?
You know what? And they weren't paying rent either, right? So they had to
No,
go.
they weren't.
And
I had
you
to get
didn't
them.
put down a pet deposit. Obviously, these
No,
roaches. Yeah,
I had to get rid of them real fast.
yeah, same, same. I totally understand. Oh, wow, that is so insightful. I re I have a bigger appreciation for Batman and Spider-Man now. I didn't think I was gonna. This is why I love this because I didn't think
I
I was
mean,
gonna walk away tonight with this point of view. This is really good. I like this.
he lost his family when he was what 7, maybe 8 years old, whatever, give or take. And then he goes learns all these martial arts, probably keep himself mentally busy. At a point, so he doesn't snap and go crazy. He also wants to defend people. Goes into he learns from masters and monks and shamans and all these various things. I really think that it was just to block out the pain of his parents, which it pretty much was. And then also
Oh,
too, he could Robin, Batgirl, and all of them. For them to he drew close to them, but he never would really draw too close to them because he doesn't want to lose them. Knowing the storyline, a lot of bad things happening, which is he was pushed to the edge a lot of times. So, but
Alan, that's really
yeah.
deep. You just made this comic book reality to me. What? No, no, no. No, now I need to talk to my therapist tomorrow. This is really good. That's really, really good. I never looked at it through that lens. That's awesome. I'm so glad I asked you that. All right. This is out of nowhere. Sometimes I get ready for these interviews and I don't have a single question until 5 minutes, and then my mind is like rapid firing. Now all I have nothing but questions for you. First of all, do you dream in color?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and do you have a reoccurring dream? And if so,
Um,
what is it? I'm curious.
no, I pretty much have a movie almost every night. Whether I remember or not.
Oh, do you
Sometimes
remember
about work.
most of your dreams?
The majority of the time, yeah. Especially the heavy ones, the really deep ones. Like last night, I remember just this morning. Now I don't remember. But yeah, I love when I have a dream on Monday and then it cuts off, and I continue to dream the next day. I love when that happens.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. You have a dream, it cuts
Mhm.
off, and you pick up where it ended the next day?
So, some of them, yeah.
That's
Some of them, yeah.
awesome. That's awesome because I've had some dreams where I wish I could jump right back into it. And that's why you hit the snooze button so many times.
Sometimes I'm looking window. What's gonna happen?
Very fascinating. I heard of recurring dreams and I heard of lucid dreaming. I've never heard of picking up the story where we left off. That's really interesting. Anyway, wow,
Yeah, I've never had a reoccurring where it keeps on happening. I've never had one of those. Just a continuation of the original.
that's really cool. Stephen King made lots of money on his dreams. And I feel like sometimes that's where I draw inspiration. I'm like,
That,
wow, where the hell? And one thing I will say about dreams real quick that a lot of people don't know that I've had to learn firsthand, when your body feels deprived of something, it doesn't matter what it is. Sometimes you'll try to quit smoking, or sometimes you will go on a fast. At the very beginning of these processes, when your body feels deprived, your dreams are most vivid. A- and it's amazing. I just, I don't know.
funny.
I have
It's
it.
funny you mentioned. It's funny you
Yeah.
mentioned Stephen King. I just mentioned him on the podcast.
Oh, really? Tell
Yeah, I
me.
mentioned. I pretty much was just saying, which because me and Antine were talking about inspiration. I was like, it's funny how like in Stephen King, who you can't remember that he wrote you see the Cujo or The Shining, but he's just so
I love
dope.
those.
He was just on. He was so coked up, or he was drinking something. Well, because he's a huge chain smoker, so he can't remember that he wrote them. So I just
Listen,
found it
whatever it was,
fascinating.
he was doing the creative artist process. And excuse me, I think it put a couple Mercedes Benz in his driveway. So whatever. You know,
Yeah, I don't want that to be the reason why I become famous or whatever. Because I mean, to each their own.
yeah, thank you. Live and let live. That's
Right.
hilarious. Oh my God. Stephen
Just
King.
about vices are pretty much creative, sipping a little bit while you're creating stuff. And things like that.
I I love what. God,
This is water, so I'm not. I don't sip on podcasts.
oh yeah, is that water? Bring it
Yeah, it's
closer. Let
water.
me smell it. Let me smell it. Come here. All right, all right. This is really good. I'm loving this. Okay. I love this question. There's like only three more questions and then you can go back to your normal happy life. All right, but I'm really enjoying my time with you. This is really great. Okay. What would you enjoy doing most if money absolutely wasn't an issue, didn't matter, you didn't have to earn a living? Like how would you contribute to society?
This
What's that? This?
exactly what we're doing right now.
Talking to
Poetry,
Heather
podcasting,
Arrington?
things like that.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
I love it.
I would.
Just kidding. No,
Of
go
course,
on.
of course. just podcasting, creating
And
art.
delving into
If I have to
stories
worry about, you know, being in, yeah,
and sharing
doing
and
all
giving
those
life
things
to experience.
creatively, creating in general.
I
Yeah, yeah,
I talked
that
over
would
you
be
because the bandwidth is starting to be wonky again, but you said again creating in general.
yeah, yeah. Just the whole umbrella of that. I would just because I'll watch certain movies. I don't know if you've seen. She's got to have it. The new one that they redid on Netflix with Nola Darling. Um, some of that aspect
What was that
where she's
movie?
an artist just trying to pay her bills along with other things, of course, that's happening. She's got to have it. It was a Spike Lee movie back
Oh,
in I think
damn it. All right. The
70s or
list
something,
keeps
60s.
growing. All right.
Probably it's 80s. But it's a series on Netflix that pretty much brings the old movie to a TV show, pretty much. So it's really good. I'm like I'm
All right.
obsessed with it.
I feel like I'm gonna be in front of the TV for the next week. Keep it coming. All right, go on.
So it's just like she's just trying to make these ends meet with her art. And I'm sitting there wondering, how do people go through it? How do people? How is she painting? She's great at it. Okay, I mean, she's great at it, and she's just living her life, painting, doing what she want to do. And of course, she's struggling because it's hard. But I was like, I would like to not have to worry about um, what will happen if I didn't have to worry. Like exactly how your question is, Frank. And I was just doing my poetry, my poetry, my podcast, traveling, doing these so many ideas I have that I want to get done, but because of me being in the box of the 9 to 5 in a sense, that I can't do certain things. Now again, they're all excuses, of course, and, and they can't happen if you really want to do it. But to answer the question, yes, I would like not to worry about uh,
Mm.
the regular day to day grind of things. Because there's a thing I have now. I'm actually going to do a podcast episode about it. Series it's called "The Man versus the Artist," and
Oh, the man versus
the
the artist.
yeah, the artist side being creative. Let's do this. The whole I just want to do what I want to do, free spirit type thing. Meanwhile, the man's like, you got rent, take care of wife, you got bills to pay, you got to go to work, you got to make sure you go do this, X, Y, and Z. And they combat each other. And that's kind of series I want to go to, where it's like a two personalities talking to each other about it. It's going to be weird, but it's like I'm interviewing myself with myself.
Oh, it's exactly what I said earlier, and I hope I'm not misquoting. A friend of mine said that about Bukowski. You've got to make that blood money to do what gives you life. I really hope I'm not misquoting, and if I am, I'll correct in the show notes. But I feel like in the beginning of some movies, there's like a black screen with a white quote. I feel like that spoke to me as an artist. Like, you know what? You're actually giving maybe an hour 80-hour a week performance because you're doing your job, but then you're doing what you love on the side. And I think that that's why people need to recognize how much goes into it. We're all living um our our average life. We are
Yeah,
your neighbors, your postal delivery people, and but we all have another side of us. Like there's a spark in art
yeah,
that ignites and
yeah.
burns. Yeah,
I,
I love
I love
that.
I love hearing about people. It's like, yeah, I'm a UPS driver. But then meanwhile, on the flip side, they take their mask off and they're actually a huge artist, a singer, novelist, whatever. I love hearing that.
Oh shoot, my camera just shut off. Hold on just a second. Oh god, that's not flattering. Hold on a second.
It looks like you're singing into the mic.
Hold on, I'm switching mics. Okay, this is what I normally look like. But okay, wait, it's kind of like Clark Kent. He's living an average life, he's doing his thing, and he puts on the cape and he's an artist. Here we go
Yeah.
back to the whole comic book thing.
See,
I
there's
I
always
love
something
that
deeper.
too. What's that?
I said there's always something deeper. We'll find something.
Oh my goodness. How easy is it to go through life and look at people on a very surface level? And then we take the
Yeah.
time to say, oh man. that UPS driver is an artist. Some of the most beautiful poetry I've heard was from a garbage truck operator, and he's
Yeah,
talking about discarded objects, and it's like people's perception, your unique
yeah.
perception is what brings new life to the world. Okay, let me see another one. All right, two more. This one's really deep. Again,
Okay,
thank you for your time. This has gone over really far.
that's
But
fine
I'm
with me. I
really
love it.
I'm having the best time. Okay, the world is ending in 6 months. How do you
Mhm.
spend your time?
The evil side of me.
Say again?
um, that's the darker side of me. What I would do. There's no.
Oh boy.
I would do any if I know legit it's going to end. There's no consequences. I'm doing
Oh my God,
anything.
okay. I'm glad you put that in there, the caveat legit, because otherwise I'm gonna be embarrassed for years. Like if it's actually
Yeah,
not ending, the things I'm gonna do. All right, gone.
I will. I'm sad that I didn't meet Robin Williams. Go to his any of his shows. I mean, he was already retired at the time, but I'm sad that we didn't get to go to any of his shows when he was alive. Um, there's, there's various things, whether it be from traveling somewhere to go see it, to go see an individual in their concert, to just say, you know what, me and my wife we're going to travel from coast to coast just because, whatever, just to see the world, whatever, things like that. Just pretty much do exactly what I want for those 6 months. No consequence, repercussions, just nothing illegal.
Nothing,
A few
nothing
illegal things.
illegal. That
Yeah,
caveat. I mean,
you know,
nothing we're gonna get caught with. No, I'm kidding.
no, it's not illegal till you get caught. That's pretty much how
That's
I
right. I say that all the
feel.
time. Um, you know what? That's so funny. I was having this exact conversation today, and I noticed a very central theme. It is travel. It's seeing the world with the people you love, and it's making
Yeah.
memories. I love
Yeah,
that.
you can say like, well, why not do it now while you're not having that pressure? But honestly, pressure builds diamonds and things come out. Like some people wait till last minute just to write an essay. I'm like that type of person. I'll wait till last minute to write something or do
Oh,
something.
you are in the Procrastinators Anonymous Club with me? Okay, got it. Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
Pressure
pretty
builds
much.
diamonds. I
I've
believe
I've
that.
had I've finished up poems right before I'm about to go on stage because I don't like how it writes. I'll change lines. I mean, we're pretty much done. But I'll go like, oh my, this line, this line, blah, 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 blah. So I'm still working on my poem even while before I'm going on stage.
Oh, you were the kid who did your homework while waiting for the school
if
bus.
if I did my homework at all.
Yes,
I
same.
hate it. I hated school. My biggest thing is like my only thing is I want to get out of here, just make money. I don't want to be here.
I agreed 100%. I spent more time figuring out how to get out of school than being in school. So
Yeah,
I
I
get
love
that.
I love reading and everything like that. I hated math and enjoyed science. Didn't like sitting there being under this umbrella or this box of like, your next class, do this. I said, I'm not going to use this. So why am I going to learn it now? It's good that I know some of the stuff, but some of I learned now. I'm looking
Mm.
back. I learned about taxes because when I got my first job, I didn't know how to fill out a tax form.
Taxes would be such a good
I was
class,
lost.
right? It would keep
I
us
just
out
feel
of
like
jail. Yeah. Down with structure. Yes. I'm all for the Montessori
right,
school. Like I'm because since the pandemic, life has been a Montessori school. I'm like, okay, well, I'm working from home. What am I gonna do in my free time now that I'm not talking to coworkers? Boom,
right.
stock market, Photoshop. I'm gonna teach myself these things. And I think that that's a growth mindset, I think, because, we want to learn what we're curious about, and the mind wants to be curious. And that's
Yeah,
a great trait. And God, we should never extinguish that.
there's a guy. His name is a chef, and his name is Axon Bronson. I think, no, I'm sorry. I'm way off. That's a rap. That's a rapper. Um, anyway, there's a chef. He's really well known. He's very out there. He was said he hated school was horrible, but then he really wanted to go into cooking class or cooking class, cooking school, culinary school,
Okay.
and he loved
Culinary
it. He
school.
paid more
Okay.
attention. Yeah, he loved it. He paid more attention. He worked hard and he messed up a lot certain things in his story. And I think that's the same with anybody. Anyone who goes to school and doesn't like it, once they go to college or they just get into a field that they love, they dedicate their time and heart to it. But meanwhile, this well, in this aspect of school, it's like, well, I didn't like high school, middle school, college, but now that I'm learning this trade, or now I'm learning this visual arts, or whatever it is, they're dedicated to it. To where it's like, where was this person when you were, supposed to make A's in high school?
Oh,
Person, we
yeah.
didn't care. We didn't care.
Exactly. It never for especially for us artists, it never seems like the things that made it to the report card. It's like, ah, I didn't know that this was a thing. I'm in love with this. I like that. All right. One more question. And first of all, please, a big thank you for being so patient with me and the technical difficulties. Um,
I'll tell. I think that's the question. I'll tell you about situation I had on my podcast. So,
oh, tell me, no, tell me. I love
so,
this.
so, Jake Seagrave was on the podcast, and he's my third or fourth guest. And I was doing it in an apartment um, that the power kept on going out. So we had to.
Oh
So
God.
I kept on losing every time the power would go off. Or lose recordings. So I think we did like 2 or 3 takes. Finally, we were able to get it. I was like, I had to plug the outlet, plug it to the refrigerator, which stayed. The refrigerator outlet stayed on, while the rest of the apartment was turned off. We're losing day. They were losing daylight, and it's like we were repeating the same story over and over again. So that's kind of the same thing. And then finally, it's just like, all right, just give a layover what we talk about, and we'll just move on from there. So I know exactly what you mean.
Oh, and thank God you also do this thing because yeah, like life happens, but I'm gonna tell you what, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not just the Cyclops train. It's called hope. It's called
Right.
we are going to meet in person one day. And I know I said one question left. There's actually two questions. So number one, this is a two-parter. Would
That's
you
fine.
please do me the honor of coming back? Can we do this again?
Yeah. No, of course. I love
Exactly. Okay, you passed. All right. No,
it.
I was hoping you'd say that because I really enjoy our time and God, you've spent so much time here and really appreciate it. Number two, and I love this portion of the show because I think that this is really where you get someone's flavor.
Mhm.
Give me a song recommendation. What would you introduce to the world? Say people who may have never heard this song. What do you want people to hear?
That's so hard. Well, I'm a huge movie music. Music to me is like a vibe, an energy. So if I could bring one person to light that I don't think a lot of people know about, but yet people do know about, there's a composer named Thomas Burgessson, and he does a lot of work with I want to say a group or a collaboration. It's called Two Steps from Hell. One song that I love is called Rada, Rada. That's by
Wait, I'm sorry, the
Thomas
audio.
Ferguson.
Say it one more time to me.
Another song I love, uh, Thomas Ferguson. Well,
Are
he's
you
probably
gonna
one of my
play it for us? Do you want to be a
favorite.
co-host? Oh
I
no,
don't want
wait.
to.
I don't know if
I don't
wait, I
want you.
might have
You
to
get
pay
strike.
for that. Okay, wait,
Yeah,
what?
you'll get a copyright strike if you do.
Thank you. Thank you
Thomas,
for looking out for me. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I can't afford that. Okay.
um, I don't know. He
This is
actually did. He actually played music. He actually did a song for a song. He composed a song for a movie Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey.
okay.
That movie is a work of art. Christopher Nolan is one of my favorite directors. His, if I can put my mindset creatively with my poetry, his will be the poetry side of me. That's how I kind of envision it. Uh, one song from Thomas Ferguson is Bergersen. That's his last name.
And what's the
Um,
name of the melody again?
um, well, one song is called Rada, Rada. That's pretty much I call it like my theme song. Sense. Um,
Ooh.
then there's
Okay.
another song that I kind of attached to myself. It's called which word Thernody for Europe. It's Threny for Europe. That
Okay.
song, hey, it's beautiful.
I'm excited to listen.
Also,
I'm
all
gonna
his music. Those are the ones that stand out in my head right now.
no, I love are these instrumental? Is this instrumental music, by the way?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, because sometimes
Yeah.
I think to
Yeah. Those.
myself, if
That's,
yeah,
those.
God, I hate Zoom.
Yeah. That
Anyway,
lag. It's a lag.
okay, is this like sometimes I judge music by if you're locked in a room and that's the only thing you can listen to for eternity. Like instrumental is really great because you can
Yeah.
pick out it's a different story almost every time you listen to it.
Yeah. I mean, if you also want to add music, I mean, I'm big on Run the Jewels with Killer Mike. I love that group. Um, J. Cole just came out with a new album. I just listened to. I was actually listening to that while I was working on the podcast yesterday or this morning.
Oh.
Um, his album is amazing. Um, but like I said, the reason why I mentioned Thomas Ferguson is because I don't think a lot of people know him. A lot of people know Two Steps from Hell. I mentioned it, but him himself, I just love. It.
Oh my goodness. My list of things to look up is so long right now. I'm really I think I'm doing more research post podcast than pre-podcast. This is really great. I love that. I'm walking away with so many gems thanks to you. This is really I love this. Thank you so
I'm glad
much.
you let me share them.
Oh my goodness. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear this. I love being introduced to new things because it kind of gives you somebody's essence. Like what is it that they enjoy hearing and that they have dear to their heart?
Yeah.
Now, if somebody fell in love with you through this
Mhm.
podcast, which everybody's going to, how could they find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram, Sacred Haiku. That's SACREDHIKU.
Okay.
That's where I'll
I
post a lot of my
mhm.
podcasts or any episodes I have or events I have coming up. I post there.
All right. I'm gonna put that in the show notes. This is
Okay.
really good. Listen, Alan,
You're
thank you.
helping me dust off my poetry because I felt rusty at my last episode. Listening back, you helped me dust off the rust a little more.
Can I just say, all right, this is what I love about that you share this medium with me and we interview poets. And tell me if you feel the same way. You and me, maybe Lisa told me, I haven't gotten her in on this conversation. The
Okay.
shoemaker's children, like we love this. We really enjoy doing this where we interview poets and everything, but it's like oh my goodness, this poetry is so good that this person is sharing. When was the last time I actually took the time to write? And
Yeah.
we have to remember to do that.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
You get distracted. You really
Oh,
do
I
get
think
distracted.
we're in love with the world and we're collecting experiences and this is and that's where we draw our inspiration, but we're not super great at sitting down and applying it because we're enjoying it.
Yeah. I I
Mhm.
I researched blocking time blocking,
Time blocking.
different
Okay.
strategies to be more disciplined,
That's a really good
things
concept.
like that. I research all those. Yeah, but I'll start doing it, but then I was like, I don't really want to. I just want to write like I write, or I just want to sit down and do it. And then creating deadlines and like I know I have to put this podcast out in this time, but I need to do this. But you just procrastinate and make things and you forget about responsibilities you have to the art, not to anything else, but to the art. You have responsibility for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Procrastinated thinking.
Yeah,
Diamonds are formed through pressure. And yes, we are clutch players, and that's how it is. Everyone has their process, and I love it. Yeah.
right.
Thank you again for being here. I'm so excited. I can't wait to
No
publish
problem.
this. This is I really feel so awesome now. And listen, I'm really looking forward to actually meeting you in person June 5th and seeing you perform your poetry. And I can't wait.
Well, I can't wait to have you on my show for the Pen and Stone podcast. So
That's right. I the teacher will be, or the student will be the teacher, vice versa, or whatever. Yeah, it'll be a different perspective actually being the interviewee. I'm really looking forward to being on. This is so cool. I can't wait to talk to you again.
I can't wait to talk to you too. I can't wait to see you at on the
That's gonna be awesome. You have no idea. I feel like I am looking so forward to it. I'm going to show up in a Lady Gaga outfit. It's gonna be like the gala. I'm
5th.
like, I'm
This is
here to.
not the meat one, huh?
Oh no, definitely no, 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 not the meat one. The one with Kermit the Frog. I'm gonna come on
Oh,
in
okay.
with Kermit the Frog dress. And like I have been waiting to enjoy live poetry for over a year. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
I'm
Oh
excited
God.
for it.
You're a real treat. Send my wishes, send my love to your wife.
I will.
And thank you so much for sharing with me tonight. I really had a wonderful time. I can't wait to talk to you again.
Thank you.
You have a great night. Thank you.
I think for letting me come on.
What was that? Say one more time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, honey. You have a great night.
It's the lag again.
I
Thank
cannot
you for
wait
everything.
to
Thank you
do
too.
this in person. Yeah, I hate this damn internet. Anyway, I can't wait to do this in person. Let's plan to, next time we do this, it's in person.
Okay,
I'll talk to you soon.
sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.